Jean-Antoine Watteau was a delicate and mysterious French painter of the 18th century who combined love, humor, and melancholy in his paintings, captivating anyone who looked at them. Here are 10 facts about him. Fact 1. Birth and childhood. Jean-Antoine Watteau was born on October 10, 1684, in the city of Valenciennes, France. He grew up in a family involved in craftsmanship, but financially poor. His childhood years were both challenging and formative. Although his family could not fully support him, Watteau began observing his surroundings carefully from a young age and developing himself. No detail escaped his attention. The expressions and gestures of people, the shadows of plants under the sunlight. These observations laid the foundation for the delicate and romantic scenes in his future works. The sketches and small drawings he made during his childhood showcased his talent and perhaps led him, even without realizing it, to choose the path of an artist. The quiet life of Valenciennes, its flourishing artistic environment, as well as France's various festivals, small theater performances, and garden gatherings created a special world in his eyes. This world fueled his desire to move to Paris and further develop his art. Thus, the observational skills and refined taste he cultivated in childhood laid the groundwork for Watteau's unique mark on Rococo art. Fact 2. Youth and education. At a young age, Jean-Antoine Watteau moved to the vibrant art world of Paris. There, he immersed himself in the city's artistic life and began taking lessons from well-known masters. One of the most influential teachers in his early career was Charles de Lafosse. Under Lafosse's guidance, Watteau refined his techniques in color, composition, and the subtleties of light and shadow. Through this training, he not only learned technical skills, but also gained a deeper understanding of human behavior, expressions and gestures, factors that would later shape his distinctive style. Throughout his youth, Watteau was fascinated by the elegance of Parisian aristocracy. He observed aristocrats at parties, in gardens, and at social gatherings, carefully studying the subtle nuances of their movements and interactions. These experiences allowed him to understand the world of refined leisure and romance, themes that later became central in his artworks. The sketches he created during this period demonstrate a young artist's deep observation of life and people. Every gesture, every fleeting expression, every subtle detail of posture was carefully recorded with a sense of soupçon. These observations were not merely exercises in drawing. They were the beginnings of the fête galante genre, the elegant garden entertainments for which he would become famous. For Watteau, Paris was more than a place of education. It exposed him to a world of ideas, influences, and inspiration. The city's theaters, salons, and exhibitions offered endless subjects for study. By the end of his youth, Watteau had already begun developing his delicate, romantic, and emotionally rich style, which would distinguish him in Rococo art. Fact 3. Personal and religious life. Jean-Antoine Watteau lived a very quiet life throughout his years. He preferred to lead a simple life with his family and close friends, and did not like to attract much attention in public. Very little is known about his personal life, but it is understood that he was more devoted to his art and observations than to serious romantic relationships. Religiously, although he was Catholic, his life in this regard is not well documented. Religious motifs rarely appear in his works. His main focus was on people's daily lives, social interactions, and elegant entertainments. Watteau's calm and introspective nature allowed him to observe the subtle emotions and feelings of people more keenly. He closely watched the lives of others and translated these observations into his art. Throughout his life, he kept himself away from romantic and social distractions, concentrating fully on his work. This individuality and deep observational skill gave his works a unique emotional depth and elegance. Fact 4. Watteau, and in the creation of the fête galante genre, Jean-Antoine Watteau is recognized in the art world as the creator of a unique genre, the fête galante. This genre depicts the elegant gatherings of aristocrats in gardens and outdoor settings, a subject that had rarely been explored in paintings before. Watteau did not merely show people's clothing in the scene. He emphasized the atmosphere, music, playfulness, and the subtlety of romantic moments. His aim in creating this genre was to combine visual beauty with emotional experience and to convey it to the viewers. For example, people in his paintings were not just standing and smiling. Their gazes, gestures, and even slightly bent postures added a sense of feeling and a story to each scene. Harmonious interactions of nature and light also played a special role in Watteau's works. Sunlight filtering through leaves, shadows of flowers, and light mist added a romantic aura to the scenes. This genre attracted great interest in France and was further developed by other artists. Thanks to Watteau's influence, the daily life and elegant entertainments of the Parisian aristocracy became a new subject in art history. He was not just a painter, he was the creator of a movement and an artist who captured the spirit of his time on canvas. Fact 5. His most famous works and pilgrimage to the Isle of Cythera. One of Jean-Antoine Watteau's most famous and iconic works is Pilgrimage to the Isle of Cythera. This painting was completed in 1717 and is considered one of the masterpieces that brought his Rococo style to its peak. In Pilgrimage to the Isle of Cythera, Watteau creates a mystical scene dedicated to love and romance. Couples stroll gracefully in gardens, sharing their romantic moments through mutual glances and subtle gestures. The charm of the painting lies not only in its subject, but also in the color palette, the soft use of light, and the delicate details of the atmosphere, which draw the viewer into the scene. Each figure's posture, gaze, and even the movement of their hands express emotion. Watteau also harmonizes nature and people. The shadows of trees, the delicate colors of flowers, and the play of light add a romantic and almost dreamlike aura to the scene. This work is more than just a painting. It has become a symbol of the elegant entertainments and romantic world of the Rococo era. Watteau's keen observational skills and attention to emotional details make this piece not only visually stunning, but also a deeply emotional and experiential work. Pilgrimage to the Isle of Cythera represents a turning point both in art history and in the development of romantic painting. Fact 6. Personal life and tranquility. Jean-Antoine Watteau lived a quiet and introspective life. He stayed away from the public social life of Paris, focusing more on his art and observations than on romantic or social relationships. His family and close friends were important to him, and he spent much of his life in small studios and quiet streets. This calm lifestyle allowed him to carefully observe people's subtle gestures and emotions and translate them into his works. Even despite health problems, he devoted his entire life to his art. Watteau's introspective nature and keen observational skills added deep emotional richness and delicacy to his paintings. Although his life was very simple, the world he created on canvas enchants everyone's heart and immortalizes the spirit of his time. Every glance and every detail further enhanced the mystical and romantic charm of his art. Fact 7. Watteau and his connection to the theater. Jean-Antoine Watteau was not only a painter, but also deeply connected to the world of theater. He was fascinated by Parisian stage performances, created sketches for set designs, and carefully observed the gestures and expressions of the actors. This experience enhanced the dynamism and dramatic feeling in his paintings, making the characters' looks and movements more vivid and expressive. Watteau's relationship with theater enriched his fête galante genre even further. The harmony of dramatic plays, entertainment, and romantic moments on the stage added a special rhythm and life to his works. Some critics even said that the couples in Watteau's paintings seemed like living versions of small theater scenes. These theatrical influences added a new dimension to his art. He managed to bring not only beauty but also movement, rhythm, and emotion onto the canvas. For this reason, Watteau's works are considered unforgettable in the Rococo period, both visually and dramatically. Fact 8. Watteau and his quiet solitude. Jean-Antoine Watteau achieved great fame, yet by nature he was a calm person who loved solitude. He kept his distance from the noisy life of Paris and felt more at peace within his inner world. Those who knew him said that when Watteau entered a room, a soft silence seemed to spread around him. He would spend long hours sitting alone, drawing sketches, drifting into his thoughts without speaking to anyone. This solitude was not an escape for him, but a source of inspiration. Because of this, his paintings carry both joy and a delicate sadness. It feels as if beneath the smiles in his scenes, a quiet and deep sorrow is hidden. Art historians believe that the subtle emotions in Watteau's works come from his need for solitude, and for this reason he is often associated with silence. Fact 9. Watteau and the secret love letters. Although Jean-Antoine Watteau loved solitude, there was a secret in his life that few knew. For many years, he wrote letters to a woman whose identity remained unknown. None of these letters have survived, but his friends said that every time Watteau sat at his writing desk, he would think for hours, then carefully write something on small pieces of paper and hide them. Some artist friends claimed that the woman was not real. Watteau had created his ideal female image. Others said he was in love with a married aristocratic woman living in Paris, and this love could never be revealed. It was even said that the mysterious expressions on the female figures in some of his paintings belonged to that woman. Watteau never spoke about it, but according to his friends, there was always a hidden longing in his heart. Fact 10. Watteau and the end of his short life. Jean-Antoine Watteau passed away at a very young age after a long illness. He was only 36, yet he had already left a significant mark on the art world. His death plunged both his close friends and the artistic community into deep sorrow. Even in his final days, Watteau continued to work on his paintings in solitude and quiet. Friends said that in his last moments, his face showed both calm acceptance and a delicate sadness. Despite his short life, his works continued to convey feelings of life, love, and melancholy to people long after his death. Watteau's story shows that sometimes the greatest artists live brief lives, but the works they create remain immortal. His solitude, filled with silence and hidden passions, lives on in every painting, continuing to captivate viewers with its subtle magic.